Welcome. I'm Reverend Anthony D. Shuford, K9 handler and trainer here at Shuford K9 Services. All right. So today's topic, I would like to discuss a very complex topic, which is potty training. That's right, potty training. I believe that if there was a technique or if there was a specific way to potty train puppies, you would be a millionaire. All right. But what I would like to do is I would like to kind of address this topic for, of course, our first time owners who are looking to purchase a puppy. I would like to address owners who already may have a puppy. And I would like to address those who may have owned dogs previously and they're getting ready to get back into the swing of things of owning a canine. So we know that dogs all start out as puppies. Now, what I do want to share with you guys is the fact that there are some things that you can do by way of pre-mission planning to make this phase a lot more comfortable, okay, for you, a lot more comfortable for your home, and as well as to alleviate a lot of the stresses that actually show up when you are a first-time owner of a pup or you're raising a puppy, all right? Now, before you go and you get the puppy, it is important for you to purchase a crate, okay, or have a kennel or get what is called an actual dog cage. That's the first thing that I would most definitely highly recommend. And I would recommend you get the actual size of crate, size of kennel, size of dog cage that the canine is going to 100% grow into. I would highly recommend that you do not buy a small to medium, then as to large crate, because that's a lot of money that you're going to be basically forking out. So what you want to do is you want to be very, economically friendly to your wallet and ensure that you buy the kennel of the predicted size of the actual puppy, the actual dog breed that you're actually purchasing. Now, I prefer to have what's called the actual dog cages with the elevated platform with the removable sliding pan. All right. Now, this is the reason why I would highly recommend to have this. When you get a puppy, that puppy bladder is still maturing. Understand that the puppy bladder is still maturing. Now, when we start looking at the urinary system, we start looking at the intestinal system and digestive system. All right, all of these actual systems are all involuntary muscles. All right, so I have a degree in kinesiology, physical health and wellness management, and as well as human performance for human beings, and as well as I've leveraged it to basically be able to understand animal performance and as well as animal physical health and wellness and also management as well. So now what I want to share with you all that is so vital and is so important is that it takes time for the digestive system of an actual canine to actually mature. All right. That also includes the urinary system. Now, the reason why I myself would choose the actual dog cage versus the crate and versus, kennels and everything else is because of the fact of that platform. The puppy can, guess what, go ahead on and elevate itself. And if the puppy was to, say, for instance, pee, within the kennel, or if the canine was to, say, for instance, poop in, say, for instance, the actual kennel, you don't have to worry about the puppy laying in its own feces and rolling around in it, okay? The puppy will go automatically up on the elevated platform inside of the actual dog cage and stay dry. Now, of course, what you guys can do is you can take puppy pads and put puppy pads in there. Now, If you want to kind of like speed up what's considered to be the actual process, the process of potty training for your puppy, if you want to speed this process up and you really want to get out ahead and you want to minimize as many accidents inside of the home, okay, the first thing is when you get that actual puppy, do not immediately take it inside of your house. Okay, I'm going to say it again. When you get the puppy, don't immediately take it inside of your house. Now, this is going to be a huge warning and precaution because the next step is going to be a predetermined factor of whether or not your actual puppy has all of his shots up to date, meaning the parvo, the rabies, the diphtheria, and the list goes on. Okay, you want to make sure that your canine is inoculated before you get ready to allow your puppy to run around outside in uncharted territory. All right. Now, regardless of the matter of whether your puppy has shots or your puppy does not have shots, you want to find a designated location where there has not been a high volume of traffic of dogs peeing and pooping there, and cats and raccoons and possums. So you want to have a designated location to where you can take that puppy out there and allow the puppy to pee and poop outside of your house first. All right. I want everybody to understand. Check this out. Allow your puppy to pee and poop outside of your home before you bring the puppy inside of your home. Now, the reason why is because of the fact of you want the puppy to begin to learn that it should pee and poop outside by way of utilizing its instinctive behavior in its most natural environment in which it has been created for. All right, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. All right, dogs were created to be outside. I want to say that again. Dogs were created to be outside. Dogs have what's considered to be fur coats, most of them. All right, but dogs were created to be outside. We are the ones who recondition the canine's general purpose of being outside to spend more time on the inside. Now, once you bring that puppy in, what you immediately want to do is not allow, hey babe, how you doing? Hey, my wife is there. All right. What you want to do is you don't want your puppy to have full access to your home. Understand, in the Word of God, there's a scripture that goes like this: too much is given, much is going to be required, right? So since God has blessed you with this puppy, there's going to be a huge requirement on your behalf, all right, to begin to train, to teach, and to as well as set up healthy boundaries so that the puppy can basically learn how to appreciate the newfound territory in which you have brought the puppy unto, which is your home. But for a lot of us out there, when we get puppies, we immediately love to hold them like babies, right? We lay down with them. We want them to sleep on our chest. We want them to sleep in our beds, right? We give them free range to run all over the house. That is the biggest mistake that we make because of the fact of, in some aspects, we anthropomorphize, we humanize the actual dog. Okay, and when you humanize the dog, you begin to take the actual dog out of his or her place and position that was created to, guess what, be a servant to the home. Okay, dogs were created to serve. I'm just going to put that out there. And if anybody who owns an actual dog don't understand that, well, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities in the early development stages to get out in front of your canine as a leader and lead your canine. So how many of you out there have ever heard someone say, hey, I'm getting ready to take my dog for a walk? It's never the reverse way in how that is stated, where, you know what, I'm about to get ready to allow the dog to walk me. Although that's the truest statement, that is the definition of when you sit back and you say, I'm getting ready to take the dog for a walk. Typically, the dog is taking you for a walk, and you're hanging on for dear life, and you're very frustrated on the actual walk. All right. Shout out, please, to Miss Bobby Molloy. Well, shout out to you and everything else. Hey, all right. So now, check this out. I want everybody to understand this. So when we start looking at potty training, you're beginning to lead the canine, show the canine where he or she can, guess what, use the restroom. And that's the reason why having an actual cage that's going to be pretty much the actual size, okay, there's going to be pretty much the actual size of full size of what the dog is going to grow into is so beneficial, because you can put a puppy pad down and you can train the puppy off of its own natural instinct to, guess what, go pee on the puppy pad inside. Now, how we can basically begin to navigate multiple ways to begin to help combat against, our puppies, actually pottying inside of our homes. Well, those puppy pads can be utilized outside of the kennel at some point in time, to where you could put it at the door and you can sit back and basically train the actual puppy to use a pad. So by way of you putting it at the door, you're already creating a natural pathway to instruct the canine when he or she has to pee or has to poop, that they need to go towards the door. All right. Now, let's just sit back and say you run into problems to where the puppy is not understanding, of course, the assignment. First and foremost, you need to understand that the puppy is still maturing. So therefore, you're going to have a delay in the maturity aspect of the actual puppy. So you're going to have to demonstrate patience and love. The same patience and love that your mom and dad actually demonstrated towards you, okay, when you were using the bathroom in your diaper and they had to change your diaper, okay? And for some of you, guess what? Although you may have made it out the diaper, some of you may have accidentally had an accident in the middle of your sleep, all right, when you're in your bed, okay? Same principle, but we're basically training a different species. So now when we start looking at this, so let's just take a look at this. So now when we start looking at this being that you have, okay, you're going to have to sit back and become very creative by way of paying attention to what your puppy is doing between their kennel and ultimately the pee pad. That's going to be the telltale sign for how you need to address the actual puppy in order to make the executive decisions of how to get that puppy to that pee pad. Now, several ways. Number one, you can have the puppy on leash and collar, and after you give the puppy water, and after you give the puppy food, you can sit back and time it. And then when you sit back, you look in the kennel, and if they're inside of their kennel, or what I mean is their dog cage, and you watch, if they start putting their nose down, circling, that means they're getting ready to pee and poop. All right? What you can do is open up your dog cage, put the leash and collar on, and lead them to the pee pad, right? And allow them to, guess what? Figure it out and pee on the pee pad and defecate on the pee pad. All right. Now, next thing that you can actually do, all right, is if you're able to sit back and let's just say, for instance, you're able to bypass your pee pad and you're able to go outside and you're able to get that puppy to begin to kind of catch on, right? And the puppy begins to pee and poop outside. That is going to be good. That's going to be great. What I'm going to tell you how to, guess what, get that pup a little bit more, how you say, keen sense awareness to the pee pad. You're going to take a little bit of his stool and a little bit of his pee and put it on a Q-tip. And what you do is you take that and smear it on the center of the actual pee pad. Then you take that in the center of the pee pad, take the pee pad, put it in the kennel. Okay? If you put it in the kennel, guess what he or she is going to do when it's time to pee or poop? They will always go to the designated location of where they peed and pooped at to pee and poop again. All right? Now, once that puppy pops out, goes to that pee pad there, right now, that's going to let you know the puppy says, I understand the assignment. You want me to pee and poop on this pad. We're going to treat this like Aladdin's carpet, all right? Aladdin's carpet, right? I don't know if any of you guys out there watched Aladdin and everything else, but we're going to sit back and begin to take that pee pad and take it back to that door. And of course, keep in mind that pee pad that you have that is clean, you might want to mark it with the K9's pee and poop on a Q-tip. It doesn't take much. All thing's got to be is a nice little brown smear in the center of it, okay? Because of the fact of what you don't want to do is you don't want your K9 peeing and pooping in your house, and they set up designated locations in your home to where when you're not stopping, you're not looking, and you're not listening, they become poop and pee ninjas, right? Poop and pee ninjas, where all of a sudden you sit back and you think you're doing good, and you're like, man, what's that smell? And you sit down and you look down and you're like, oh my goodness, the canine peed and pooped right beside my chair where I eat at the kitchen table. Or better yet, you get ready to put your socks on and you're walking across that floor, and then you step into what is called an actual wet spot. All right. Now, the other things that you can do when it comes down to potty training is this. Okay. If your home is staying at 72 degrees year round, okay, you do not have to have freestanding water out or freestanding food out for your dog. You don't. You can give them water, remove the water bowl, which is going to be a resource, and, okay, the food bowl, remove the food bowl as well, okay? You can also begin to set up a nice magical timer, or a nice timer, excuse me for saying magical and everything else. I'm a believer in Christ Jesus. I got to put that out there, so there's nothing magical about this, all right? So now, something I want you guys to really begin to understand is that by you removing these sources, say for instance, away from your puppy, understand that the puppy's not going to overeat, the puppy's not going to overdrink, because sometimes puppies can begin to drink water and begin to binge eat because of the fact that they are bored, all right? They're bored. And anytime a puppy overeats, let me tell you, I've had my share of ups, and I've had my shares of downs when it comes down to potty training, especially when it comes down to giant German schnauzers, all right? This last giant schnauzer that I've got, which is Kira, I'll have to say roughly around about, I have to say about 8 months, I'll have to say, we got it dialed in 8 months. Okay, in 8 months, we got it dialed in. Okay, when she turned 8 months, she was able to hold her liquids, she was able to hold her solids, but it took a journey to get there because of the fact of every puppy that you get, every dog that you own, understand it's going to be a total different process. That's the reason why this is not a really streamlined way to, guess what, potty train. Okay, there's not a streamlined way of if you do this, this is going to happen, or if you do that, this is going to happen. Potty training is one of the most intense, one of the most stressful moments that you're going to have with your actual newfound puppy. Now, the reason why I want to tell you why it's so tough is this. It has nothing to do with you. Okay, it has nothing to do with the puppy itself. What it has to do is that the puppy was created to be outside. Okay, the dogs were created to be outside. I want everybody to sit back and understand that, who's this? Hermie. Hey, what's up? Thank you for joining us. Once again, to my lovely wife, thank you for joining us, and as well as Bobby Molly, thank you for joining us. Amir, thank you for joining us, all right? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for the support. Oops, sorry, let me get back up here. Push that back around. All right, so I want you guys to understand that dogs were created to be outside. And what do dogs do outside? They pee and they poop. When we bring them inside, we are working against nature. Okay, I want everybody to understand that. Okay, here's the deal. We are working against nature. And no, this is not a replay. All right, Mr. Baby Blue Fire, this is actually live. Okay, so I want everybody to understand that we're working against nature. And anytime you work against nature, you're going to come up with a different set of level of difficulties. Next, typically whenever you get a puppy, now it's like 8 weeks. It is best for you, if you're going to receive your puppy, not to pick it up at 8 weeks. All right. It's better for you to pick your puppy up at 12 or even 15 weeks. All right. Now, the reason why I would sit back and say pick your puppy up at 12 or pick your puppy up at about 15 weeks, this is my logic. Okay. When you sit back and you pick a puppy up at, say, for instance, 8 weeks, that's an 8-week newborn baby that you've got. Okay. The mother really hasn't had time to really begin to teach the puppy what healthy boundaries are, teach the puppy limits, teach the puppy what puppy etiquette is. Okay. Teach the puppy what it is to be disciplined. Okay. Or disciplinary, the actual puppy. A lot of times when we receive this puppy, we become the mom. You may be able to take the pup out of the pack, but you can't take the pack out of the pup, and the pup is looking for leadership, okay? All right? So now, no, this is not a replay. This is actually live. This is not a replay, everybody. This is live, okay? All right, so now, what I'm sharing with everyone here is that it's so important and it is so imperative, so important, so imperative. For many of you who may be asking if this is a replay, I did speak about this before, but I want to speak about this a little bit more in depth and take a little bit more time to basically be able to help those who are out there. So that's the reason why I'm putting a little bit more effort in the potty training phases, because I know that this is something that is very, 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 very tough for those of you who own puppies. And I really kind of want to kind of advocate for the puppies out there who is basically going through and getting put through, because I know that there are some owners in which I've actually worked with, because I'm a professional canine handler trainer, if I haven't let y'all guys know that, but I'm just letting you know. And some of the biggest complaints, or the biggest concerns that they have is, when is my puppy going to be able to be housebroken? Okay. And the term housebroken is meaning that your puppy knows to go outside and pee and poop, and will tell you when he or she needs to go outside and pee and poop. So today I decided to basically discuss this a little bit further, to give some tips out there that can be beneficial and also helpful to those out there who are having a tough time. All right. I don't think we spend enough time talking about this topic. Okay. Because, of course, we begin to, show, oh, the dog can sit, the dog can down, oh, the dog can recall, oh, the dog can jump through hoops and all these other things. But we really don't get down to the potty training aspect and how to address it. Understand that with patience and love and kindness, goes farther a long ways when it comes down to potty training. Because right now I've got a male and I've got a female, and if I had to tell you the truth, it's easier to train a male to potty train than it is a female. And that's just my experience as me owning my canines and everything else. And just remember, if you own 2 or more, okay, dogs, you have a kennel, by the way. Okay, you have a kennel and you have a big major responsibility. But for me, my main goal is to be at only roughly around about 12 at some point in time. Because I just really have a passion. I have a passion for dogs. I don't see it as being, of course, laborsome. And even going through the process of potty training, no matter what, hey, you know what? I remember, and it's a short story before I let everybody go, is that, so there I was, okay, with my puppy, Kira. And I had to basically put Kira, say for instance, inside of the kennel. But Kira had basically ate, and she ate a lot. And I mean, she ate a lot. Something I want to tell you about the digestive system of a dog: if you overwhelm it, you will find out. You will get a nice brown reward. You would get a atrocious brown reward. Let's just put it to you like this right here. When I came in from outside and I thought everything was going good, and I walked in, and you guys would not imagine what I walked into. I walked into pretty much the the Nile River. Okay. I had the Nile River going on after a huge torrential rain. And you know how the Nile River, the waters turn brown and everything else. Imagine going to her kennel and it was up to the lid. It was like this. and she's just in there just laying in it like it's a jacuzzi. All right, so I had to learn like really, really, really quick. Okay, about learning how to clean up pee and poop, and learning how to sit back and basically become a potty training expert. Okay, for our home. So that's just pretty much some details I wanted to sit back and just share with you guys about potty training. I hope you all enjoyed. I enjoyed myself being able to share some of the tips and some of the, how you say, top uber duper secrets of, how you say, potty training dogs. So, hey, be sure to keep tuning in, staying in, keep supporting. Hey, be sure to follow me, like, and subscribe to me on Instagram at Shuford _K9 Services and Shuford _K9 Services on Facebook. Because what I want to do is I want to build a huge community of where we can basically begin to share some of the most greatest techniques to better ourselves as canine handlers, owners, and trainers. All right, God bless, and out.